All right, all right, all right. We are back. You all still have about 2 minutes to finish your self-care plan for each of those 8 categories. And if you haven't, one of the recommendations, if you kind of were a little perplexed as to how to keep moving forward, is to go to ChatGPT. Make sure that it's customized for your business and that you're using your business email. You're going to type in there, the 8 essential things, 8 essential areas, and then ask ChatGPT to create a self-care action step plan for each of these 8 categories for you and your business so that you can live an optimal life. All right? Excellent. Who's ready? Y'all ready to go to the next level? All right. So sustaining business through life's challenges, better known as when life is lifing. Which is something that we experience all the time. So what happens is you'll have this business and you're really trying to get to 6 and 7 figures in your business, and the car breaks down, right? Or the child's leg gets broke or something, or the window breaks in the house. Anything, life happens, right? And so as life is happening, we find ourselves putting business on hold. And business can't be on hold if we don't have automated processes in place and if we don't have people to delegate those tasks to. So, how does life directly affect your business when it's on hold? What does that mean?
Well, I just told myself the other day, I'm not sure. But, when you're dealing with things emotionally, your mind is can't all the way be there.
Right.
For business, I guess, because only so much can occupy that space in your mind. And so you're not able to flow and be as productive as you need to be when you have issues with different things.
Right. So what she was saying is that when you're having emotional challenges or emotional issues that are happening in your life, your brain can only really do one thing at a time. And so what ends up happening is like the emotional portion is taking up so much of your time, you can't even think about business, right? This is what happens. This is the life thing. So what we're going to talk about here is strategies for resilience. Not strategies for being strong. No, strategies for resilience. How to keep your business running during tough personal times. Y'all ready? How to keep your business going during tough personal times. Because this happens all the time. Like, I don't know one person this hasn't happened to. Okay, so here's the first prompt. Working smarter, not harder. Automation. Working smarter, not harder. Automation. How can you make your business work for you even when you need time to step away? The question is, how can you make your business work for you even when you need time to step away? And the answer is automation. Why automation matters? Automation matters because when life gets tough, just like what you just said, right? Your energy is limited. You don't have time to think about, I need to send this email and all this. No, it needs to be automated. So automating tasks allows for your business to keep running smoothly without requiring constant input from you. These are the businesses that are making a lot of money. Businesses that are automated, right? And you're not doing every single thing. Last month we talked about bartering and partnering, and we talked about the 12 key people that you need in your business. And right now, if you're an entrepreneur, you're probably doing all of those things. And then you're doing the sub-businesses and the subcategories underneath those. So if you're chief technology officer of your business right now, you're probably the technology manager. And so you're doing about 30 jobs right now just for your business, for yourself. So if you can begin to automate some of this stuff, you can take some of this stuff off your plate. For example, automation saves time, reduces human error, and ensures continuity. So examples of automation are email marketing. Set up automated email sequences to nurture leads. Who knows what nurture means?
To cultivate.
Cultivate, right? Basically to take care of. I'm going to nurture this person. So to nurture a lead, to onboard new clients, or to promote your services. So through email marketing, if you have MailChimp, Constant Contact, or any of the other ones, all of them basically kind of do the same thing. If somebody was to go onto your site or something, you can have, hey, get 10 tips on how to decorate your house with under $100, right? So you have, that's called a lead magnet. It's actually something that people want to do. When they click on that, they go through a sequence. And the sequence is, hey, it basically takes them through however many sequences you want to take them through. One sequence, 2, 3, 4, or basically a sequence is basically like a step. That is automation. You can do that in email marketing. So when you send your email out, hey, click here for more information, and basically it starts taking them through a whole nurture sequence. Because you know sometimes when you tell people, they're not going to immediately buy. It's not even on their mind, right? Or they're not going to immediately take action. Why? Because people are stuck in their habits and in their ways, and they're not sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? And so this is why it's constantly important for you to keep getting your message out there, and getting your message out there, and getting your message out there, and continuing to do email marketing. So those are some things that you can think about. Tools like, again, MailChimp, ActiveCampaign. Send out emails while you're on vacation, or while life is lifing, and get someone else to do it. Do you have to do it? You don't have to, but you can tell them what you want inside of there. Hey, I need this specific thing inside of the newsletter, and somebody else can create the newsletter for you, or the new email marketing. Something else, social media. Use scheduling tools. You have so many scheduling tools and so many price points. So if you're on a budget, there are some scheduling tools that are free. There are some scheduling tools that are not free. If you have Canva, there is no need for you to be having 4 or 5 different technology tools if you don't have a lot of money. Use Canva. Canva lets you schedule your posts automatically. Canva lets you schedule those reels, those videos, automatically to your social media. So know what you have in terms of technology and use it. And if you don't know what you have, and you need to get a technology specialist that says, hey, what tool can I use that I can automate and I don't have to pay 4 or 5 different subscriptions? Because people right now are paying a lot of subscriptions for things that they don't necessarily have to do. Okay? But yeah, social media postings. Did you know that on some social media platforms, you can schedule all the way out for a whole year? You can schedule for a whole year. I did that for 2024, so stuff is coming up. I'm like, I don't want that on there. So if you do pre-schedule your social media posts, make sure it's something that is relevant. It's almost like it's kind of like universal, right? Because what's going to happen is, as you're going through, you might change course somewhere along the way. Even if you have like your annual goals, things happen. And so I'm looking at the social media now, and I'm like, really? Oh, that's what's getting posted today, right? But someone did it in November of last year so that it can go all the way through the end of the year. And I'm just like, okay, I probably will not do that again. But, if you do want to do that, just make sure that you understand the consequences of that. But social media, you can, again, schedule out all the way up to a year. Client management. Do you have a process in place? And I always talk about SOPs because I love standard operating processes, because when you have a standard operating process, if the standard operating process is written out, it means that you don't have to do it. It means that anybody can come in and do it. That's why McDonald's, and I'm going to always say this, is the leading business process. They have the leading process. That's why they can make $50 million a day, because of their business process. Okay, they have the top business operating process, and you can do the same thing with your business. You get something in place, you write the process out. When you have a client, when someone reaches out to you, this is what happens. Step 1, an automatic email goes back to them. Thank you for your interest. Step 2, let's get on a call. Step 3, like that, whatever it is. But create a client management process so that you have the whole process in which you're engaging the client, and then all the way through if you're trying to get them through a sale. And then you should have payment reminders if they're on like a monthly payment system. Make sure that you have payment reminders that go up. Hey, this payment is about to come up. Payment reminders, you can do that through QuickBooks. You can do that through Dubsado. Dubsado is actually like a whole process, which is highly recommended for people who have a large client base that has step-by-steps. So I know that accountants use Dubsado a lot because they have to, have the person come in and create their account. And then they have specific documents that are very, very highly sensitive, and it has to stay inside of a portal. And then those have to be signed. And once it's signed, so like Dubsado goes like step by step by step. It's kind of like a campaign. When this happens, and this happens, and this happens, and this happens, and this, like that. Dubsado is D-U-B-S-A-D-O, Dubsado. And if you don't know how to set up your Dubsado, because if you don't set it up right, it's going to mess up, you can always reach out to them. They have people who will do it for you as well. And that just basically reduces the follow-up time for you. It just automatically does this, whatever, okay? And something else that you need to think about, examples of automation, is online booking. Can people go online and book your services without you having to do that? So if you're having if you're a coach and you have coaching sessions, do you have Calendly set up? If you have an event business, do you have it set up where people can do a consultation with you? Whatever it is, make sure that you have online booking for people to be able to follow up or get those sessions in for you. All right, the next activity is reflect on a task in your business that could be automated to save time and energy. Think right now inside of your business, what can be automated right now in your business? Do you have a business that has a service or something that can be automated? What is that? So delegation, letting go of the reins. Ooh, this is a big one. Letting go of the reins. A lot of people do not want to let go of the reins when it comes to their business. They think, if I don't do it, it's not going to get done. That is not true. That's what you told yourself, but it's not true. Also, what's holding you back from delegating tasks, and how could it free you up for self-care? So when people want to hold on to the reins, it's not about the business. It's about them and some emotional things that they have going on in their head. It's something that they've told themselves that is probably not true, but they want to hold on to that belief so hard. So, the power of delegation. Delegation is essential when personal life takes center stage. You can't do any and everything, and that's okay. But handling of tasks to trusted team members, to virtual assistants, or contractors allows for you to focus on the most critical areas of your business or personal life. So when life is lifing, delegate it. That's why it's important as a business that you have other people that you either hire or have hired, virtual assistants, contractors, and or virtual employees, okay? So that's why it's important. That's why businesses don't grow without having more people in the business, okay? And how to delegate effectively. One way to delegate effectively is start small. Delegate non-essential tasks that drain your energy. Those tasks that like, oh my God, I really have to do social media posts. Some people don't like that. Some people do.
Or don't know how.
And some people don't know how, yeah. So it's like, oh my God, I just don't feel like being exhausted doing that. So delegate it, right? What else can drain people's energy? Sometimes your monthly profit and loss statement. For some people, that's draining their energy. I don't want to look at how much money I made and how much I sent. I don't want to create that report. So delegate it, right? For some people, it is, I don't feel like packaging all of those t-shirts that those people bought. Delegate it. So thinking about start small and delegate for the non-essential tasks that drain your energy, okay? So you need to bring in people like data entry support, customer service support, social media management. You should also outsource specialized tasks. So hire experts. For specific things, hire experts. Don't hire somebody who doesn't know how to do social media to manage your social media. Does that make sense? Don't hire somebody who doesn't know about finances to do your monthly bookkeeping. I'm laughing because I'm like, people do this. They just hire somebody because that's their friend or their family, whatever. Make sure that you're hiring experts in these areas. Don't hire somebody who says, oh, I know how to do graphic design to do your website. It's not the same, right? So you need to know what you're hiring for. So outsource specialized tasks to people who are expert on that. Barriers to delegation. Discuss common fears about delegating. What are you afraid of when it comes to delegating? What are you afraid of? What are some things that people are afraid of why they don't want to delegate when it comes to their business?
It's where it's not going to be done correctly.
Fear it's not going to be done correctly. Economics. How about fear that somebody's going to try to take over their business? Oh my gosh, I hear this all the time. People are like, no, that person's going to take over my business. No, they're not. No, they're not. And if they do, you didn't have your processes in place. Someone can't take over something that you have processes in place, right? That's why it's so essential to make sure that everything is set up properly. If it's loosey-goosey, yeah, they can take it. But if it's laid out and has processes, how are they going to take it over? They may not know how to do it the way that it needs to be done in order to take it over. So the fear of someone coming to take your business, it's just something you're thinking about, but it's not necessarily 100% true. And don't be afraid that if somebody comes and takes your idea even. How do you think, you go to a grocery store, how many loaves of bread are on the shelf? It's Sarah and Nature and the store brand. There's so many different kinds of bread on the shelf, and everybody is getting paid. You'll go and the whole bread aisle will be empty because everybody bought all the bread. So if somebody runs and takes your idea, level up. Do what they didn't take. You still have an opportunity to level up that business and do it in a way that they didn't even think about, right? Because we're all human, we're all the same. So oftentimes we're thinking the same. Just think about how you can do something different. All right, so don't worry about that when it comes to delegation. All right, next activity. What do you struggle with right now and consider delegating it? What are you struggling right now that you can delegate in your business? So the first thing we talked about was, what are you struggling with when it comes to effectively automating, right? So now we're talking about delegating. What can you do now in your business to delegate? So go ahead and write that. Write down what you can delegate in your business. And let me tell you, delegation can be simple as if you have a teenager, hey, I need for you to, put the brownies in the container. I need for you to put the labels on the packages or things like that. Simple stuff that, and remembering that when you hire your teenagers and your family, tax breaks, we need to know all this good stuff, right? All right, so now what you're going to be thinking about is what do you have in your business right now that you can delegate? You need to write that down and figure out how you're going to delegate. And then write down the steps of how you're going to delegate, because if you've never done it before, it's difficult to do. Just because you want to do it doesn't mean like you're going to turn around and say, oh, I'm going to start delegating. No, it's difficult, okay? All right, last thing, scheduling self-care into the work day. So, how can you incorporate self-care into your daily routine no matter how busy you are? How can we do this? Because when business is going and life is lifing, we don't even think about how we can incorporate this to make us feel better and to make us more productive. But how can you incorporate self-care into your daily routine? Schedule a meeting with yourself? Okay. So, why self-care is essential for resilience. Remember, we didn't say strong, we said resilience. Resilience is being able to withstand over long periods of time without really breaking down, right? So when people say, oh, you're so strong, strong is temporary, but resilience is everlasting. So it's like, basically it's like being able to persevere, right? So resilience can last longer than being strong. Taking care of yourself is not a luxury. It is a necessity. So when we start saying, oh, I need to go get a massage, people think that's luxurious. No, it's not. It's a necessity. Oh, I need to get my hair done. It's a necessity. I need to go get my nails done. It's a necessity. Some of the necessity is not 12-inch nails, but regularly grooming your nails, regularly grooming your eyebrows, these, as Muslims, are sunnah. Regularly cleaning yourself it's necessary and mandatory, right? So when you start thinking about how can I do this on a regular basis, how can you get a massage regularly? Barter. I know that's real, right? Barter. You can also, they have plans where you can pay monthly to get one massage, right? They're chiropractor visits. If you look at your insurance plan, most insurance plans allows for you to have 40 chiropractic visits a year. That is at least once a month. Twice a month. 3 times a month. Let me think. 3 times a month. 3 times a month you can go see the chiropractor. If you have never gone to get an adjustment with a chiropractor, you're missing out. Because a chiropractor visit is going to give you better sleep, better clarity, just everything is going to start feeling better. So these things you have to do regularly. It's kind of like I have to do these things because it's a necessity, not because it's a luxury. So when you neglect self-care, you get burnt out. Right? Let's just do another thing. One of the things was your environment. When you don't have environmental self-care, what happens? Stuff starts just piling up in the living room and piling up in the bedroom and piling up everywhere is piling up. And next thing you know, it's like, oh my God, I need to clean my house. But if you were to have your self-care action plan in place, doing this regularly, you could do it literally every day. So when you wake up, the house is clean. When you go to bed, the house is clean. Why? Because you're maintaining these things regularly. So, and remembering that when your environment isn't clean, you can't think, process, or be productive. And again, I'm saying this to moms out there because your children are running around and acting up because their house isn't clean. And this is so important when it comes to mental health, because if they're calm, you're calm. You can work better when they are also in a clean environment. So that's just something to think about. So you can get burnt out. It leads to decreased productivity and eventually business stagnation. Who's stagnant in a business right now? Meaning your business isn't doing anything. It's like, what is going on? I'm not making any money. The business stagnation. This is a part of why self-care is so important. People really don't realize that taking care of yourself makes your business better. Regularly getting your hair cut, regularly getting dressed up. Like if you're at home, even if you work from home, I highly, highly, highly encourage you to make sure that you dress up every single day. Because when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, what happens? Productivity, right? It used to be a time where everybody, they didn't even have any jobs. In 1800s, they were getting decked to the nine, right? Put this corset on, put this dress on. They sit at home in a dress, looking all good. They're not working, doing anything. What are they doing? Knitting, reading, all of these self-care things. And they were so much more productive than we are. Whew. Okay, so barriers. Self-care. So simple self-care practices for your workday. Number 1, time blocking. Block that time. Don't just say I'm going to work from 9 to 5 and you don't have time blocking. Time blocking, dedicate specific tasks and or businesses in time slots on your calendar for self-care activities. So if you have a meeting, don't do 4 meetings back to back to back. Because really by the time you get to the 3rd one, it's over with, right? So make sure that you're planning some self-care activities in between those meetings. Do not do back to back to back to back to back. It's not healthy. You haven't gotten up to go to the bathroom. You haven't gotten up to think. Your brain is in overload. You know how like after you get off a Zoom call, you're just like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. Because your brain is like, it needs a break, right? So don't do that. Don't back up those meetings. 10-minute walk, a lunch break, quick meditation, scheduling. It makes it all easier to handle throughout the day. So time blocking is important. Work in sprints, meaning that use the Pomodoro technique of 25 minutes of focused work followed by 5-minute break. So what I recommend sometimes is that people buy a timer, and when you get that timer, you press it. Once you press that timer, you have 25 minutes or 30 minutes to work uninterrupted. You're not looking at your phone, you're not talking to people, you're doing 30 minutes of uninterrupted work. Once that 30 minutes stops, you get up and take a break. And when you know that you're on a timer, what happens? You get it done. You get that work done so much faster. So work in sprints. And then mentally, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I got so much more stuff done. Have you ever been at work and you're just working and working and working, and you look up and you really haven't done anything, but you've been sitting at the computer for 5 hours? And nothing's happened all day. You're on Facebook, Instagram, TikToking. You may have done a couple of things, but looking at like what you're doing during the day, when you work in sprints, it's going to alleviate a lot of that stuff. Also, mindful transitions between tasks. Take 2 minutes to breathe deeply and to stretch. Remember we were talking about earlier about stretching elongates your life. Just simple stretching. So if you've been sitting in a chair the whole time, what do you need to do? Get up and stretch. Your sciatic nerve needs to be stretched. So when your leg is hurting in your lower back, move that sciatic nerve. Stretch to get it back so that you're not pinching it all the time, and then it's messed all up, and then you can't walk, and then you hip, and then we don't want to have any of those problems. So mindful transitions. Breathe deeply and stretch. These mini breaks reduce stress and they improve your focus. Self check-ins. Check in with yourself. Set daily or weekly reminders to assess how you're feeling. Like maybe in the middle of the day, how am I feeling? Am I feeling exhausted? Am I feeling recouped? Like, do I need to continue during the work day? Do I need to do something different tomorrow? Because maybe I need to get out of the house. Maybe I need to go to that coffee shop down the street instead of just working at home. So just do a mental check and then be ready to take those necessary steps so that you don't feel overwhelmed. Making a change before it affects your work or your well-being. So if you feel the change, automatically your body and your mind is saying, hey, do this change, and you should do it. All right, the last activity is, now what you want to do is you need to write down and integrate how you are going to incorporate self-care into your workday. Whether it's a 10-minute meditation, 2-minute breathing technique, stretch, or whatever. But whatever you choose to do, make sure that you're doing it consistently. Some people are like, oh, I don't like to do that. Consistency is boring, but consistency is key. Consistency is rich. People who are consistent are rich. And what does Allah say He loves? Consistency. He didn't say amount. You can pray the prayer, and if you pray it consistently, you're going to get rewarded. You can pay zakat, and if you don't, if you have the same income, and you're only paying $2.50, but you're paying it consistently, Allah loves consistency, not necessarily the amount. So consistency is key. All right. So, do you think that you have the tools to change life when it's lifing with your business right now? Yes. Okay, excellent. So, the idea of resilience is built through preparation, delegation, and self-awareness. So by automating, delegating, and integrating self-care into your workday, this is how you can get through your business life when life is lifing. These small things can help you when life is lifing. So what I want you to do is reflect on which strategy, automation, delegation, or self-care, resonates with you the most, and implement that next week. Begin to implement that next week. Like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and focus on this self-care next week. And then after you focus on the self-care, at least for 2 weeks, then implement something else.
Automation, delegation, and
Self-care.
Thank you.
into your workday. Self-care into your workday.
Four for resilience.
Hmm.
You mentioned 4 things for resilience: preparation.
Resilience is built through preparation, delegation, and self-awareness. Self-awareness is basically the self-care. Okay. All right. So now we're going to wrap it up. So what I want you all to do is make sure that you look at your reflect on what we talked about today, the 8 areas in which you need to have a self-care plan. If you didn't get your self-care plan completed today, don't forget you can chat GPT it. It's going to help you. Make sure that once you chat GPT it, copy it to a Google document. On that Google document, change anything that doesn't resonate with you or doesn't align with what you want to do. And then making sure that you are beginning to commit to those action plans. Because when you start finding yourself stagnated in your business, it's one of those self-care things that are going down. And you have to have the action plan in place in order to make sure that you can continue to go through. All right, so one last thing before we end this self-care activity for today, I want you to think about finding an accountability partner. Someone who's going to hold you accountable. And generally, this is called your squad. So if you don't know what your squad is, your squad are people who are going to, number 1, help uplift you. Number 2, tell you the truth about yourself. Number 3, hold you accountable. So if you say, oh, you know what, I'm gonna start that podcast next week. Okay, well, your squad should be there and be like, girl, where's the podcast at? You ain't started nothing yet, right? In a nice, loving way, but in a we need to push you kind of way, right? So your squad is there. You're checking in with them every single day. If you don't have a squad, you need to get one. Everybody needs a squad. Even as Muslim, Rasulullah, his squad was the companions, right? The squad was his wife, right? So make sure that you have a squad, people you can check in with, and people who are going to elevate you. Your squad is not necessarily your friends. That's not a squad. It's great when your friends are your squad, but your friends are not necessarily your squad. Squad, again, are people who you are trying to get to a destination, and they're there to help you. So you can have business squad. You can have an exercise squad. You can have a vacation squad, right? You can have a $1 million squad. Like, hey, all of us are trying to become millionaires. When you have that specific mindset with those specific squad people, then they're pushing you in those areas in that way. And studies show that when you have a squad, or when you have people that are helping support you do something, 95%, you have a 95% completion rate. 95%. When you do it by yourself, it goes all the way down to 60% or less. All the way down. From 95 to 60, which one you want? You want to do it by yourself for 60%, or you want to do it with a group and get 95% completion rate? You want to do it with a group, right? So get your squad going. Okay. Anybody have any questions before we end the workshop? And let me see if anybody has any questions on here, online. If you have any questions online, you can definitely put those up as well. Anybody have any questions?
What is the occupational care? Occupational
care. So occupational care is, that's where the vacations and stuff come in. But let me go back to occupational care. So,
just a basic definition.
Yeah. So the basic definition of occupational care is, occupational care, self-care ensures that you find fulfillment in your work without sacrificing your well-being. It's about balancing your career with your life priorities. Balancing career with life priorities. Again, some of those examples of self-care activities for occupational care is setting boundaries with work hours to prevent burnout, scheduling regular breaks and vacations, delegating tasks or automated processes, engage in professional development to grow in your career and or business. Engaging in professional development to grow in your career or business. And you know how we go to school and we learn? If you have a business and you have not done any learning in that business, you're missing out. Your business isn't going to grow if you don't know about it. So I always encourage people to, there are tons, again, what we talked about earlier, there are tons of online courses that will help you to become a master in your business. A master. And don't just take a whole bunch of courses. You as a CEO, you don't have to know how to do every single thing in your business, but you have to know how to hire people who can do everything in your business. Okay? Two totally different things. So I definitely recommend CEOs taking leadership type classes, taking classes that of things that you really, really like. And again, what we've talked about previously is also knowing your zone of genius. If you don't know what your zone of genius is, you need to take that. You can go take that through Clifton Strengths. You can do the high five test. Some of this stuff used to be free, and now they're just charging for everything now. But they have tests where you can take, and it'll tell you what basically your highest skills are. And that's what you should be doing when it comes to your business, not just something you thought about. And it should be something that you love to do, all right? So, self-care, the 8 essential areas that we talked about today are physical, emotional, mental, social, spiritual, financial, environmental, and occupational. And you should have developed a self-care action plan for all 8 of those, so that when those areas feel depleted, you're able to step into action with your action plan. Anybody have any other questions before we close out? Any questions online? No questions online? All right. That's it. All right. So this is wrapping up September's workshop. Don't forget to join us next month. Don't know what the topic's going to be as of yet for October, but we do have on the social media, the request was, hey, what do y'all want to talk about for October? I have a couple of things that I think we should talk about, but if you have something specific that you want us to talk about for the workshop for next month in October, let us know so that we can get that all the way together for you. But thank you all so much for joining us. I'm Coach Naima with the Lady Khadijah Institute. We'll talk to you soon. Peace out.